If you choose to take this insight and let it permeate your relationships, I can assure you the quality of your life and your relationships will skyrocket, and I can tell you this from personal experience. This insight only works if you believe in God, and I'm going to assume that you do. Now, we believe that God is the soul of souls. There's only one reality, and that is God. So what's the purpose of bodies, where we have part of God, our soul, within us? Now, there's a lot one can say about this, but one thing is for each one of us to realize that we are all on our own particular path. Now, at the end of the day, whatever assumptions we have all made, God knew Adam was going to do what he did, and they were going to leave the Garden of Eden. So at the end of the day, you've got to think about this. No one is perfect. Not one of us is perfect, because if we were totally perfect right now, and the world was totally perfect, there would be no life, there would be no history, there would be no development. So we are not perfect. And that's why the Pasuk says, Kedoshim tiyu, ki ani Hashem Elokechem. That's part of the Pasuk. It says, be holy, and then it says, because I am the Lord your God. Now, if the Pasuk is that way in the Torah, obviously it means that God is telling you to be holy. So why does it have to add, because I am the Lord your God? Well, I'd like to suggest it's because in life we compare ourselves to other people as an excuse. For example, we say that, well, look, at least I'm doing more than him. When you compare yourself to somebody else, you're not setting a high standard, and you're setting yourself a limit, because if you bypass that person, that's it. You're not going to strive for more. But this is one of the secrets of our survival, is that when you only compare yourself to God, you will never be God. So you will always be growing. No matter where you are, no matter what circumstances you're in, there is always more to you, there is always more to life, and you will always grow. So here it is. Every one of us is perfectly imperfect. What does that mean? We are on the perfect journey. We are on the perfect journey for each and every one of us, divinely tailored for us, whether we realize it or not. And when we understand that we are on the perfect journey tailored for each and every one of us, and we understand that by the division of the soul of souls into the reality, the souls that we are, that means the separation of bodies. As we said in the beginning of this video, the separation of bodies, one message is to understand that each one of us has a different path. So once we understand we are perfectly imperfect, meaning we're on the perfect path for us to develop and strive for perfection, that means somebody else is on their perfectly imperfect path. But what does that mean? That means no matter how we try to help at times, people still continue with what they do. Because at the end of the day, somebody else, I know this is an obvious thing, but they're not you. And that means they're entitled to their moods. They're entitled to their sensitivities. They're entitled to their challenges, etc., on their particular path. Somebody else might react to a certain situation in a totally ridiculous way in your eyes, but maybe that's where they are on their journey, and that's what's needed. And when you can't help them and they don't try and understand you, maybe it's you who has to understand that that's where they are. So the following two verses in Pirkei Avot I quote the whole time because I think they're just so critical. There are two of them. Hevei dan et kol ha'adam lechavschut, and Hevei mekabel et kol ha'adam besever panim yafot. And the first one means, Hevei dan, most people will translate it as judge everyone favorably, and Hevei mekabel et kol ha'adam besever panim yafot means accept, welcome, or bring people in with accept people with a happy or a decent countenance. But what most people are missing when it comes to these two psukim is it says Hevei Mekabel et kol ha'adam. It doesn't, meaning it says it in singular. It doesn't say Hevei Mekabel anashim, people. It says Hevei Mekabel kol ha'adam, the whole person. So when you understand that, your relationships are going to totally change. Why? Because when you accept the whole person, you understand that they're on a journey. You understand that they have their moods, and everybody's state of mind has its own language. And you know that when you're angry, you're going to say stuff to your loved ones, or when you're depressed, you're going to say stuff to your loved ones that you wouldn't normally say. It doesn't excuse it. But when we understand people more, we're going to preserve our relationships. And when we understand that there's a whole person over there, and we relate to a person every time we interact, we make our efforts to see the whole person. And this backed up by the fact that we're choosing to realize that just like we're on a path, they're on their unique path that I haven't decided for them, that God has. And they have stuff to go through. They have challenges to go through, thoughts to go through. They have a process. So then when we can do that, when we can mekabel kol ha'adam, the whole person, and judge the whole person positively, meaning we will always see the sum total of the parts, and we'll never lose out on their greatness, on the goodness that they have done. And what that does, it obliterates tunnel vision. So you don't blow things out of total proportion, thinking, how dare they do this? And then maybe we realize it's a challenging time for them. It's a specific issue. And we're going to preserve our relationships. I can't stress this enough. That when you see the whole person, yes, the extreme situations where relationships will end, where certain things are totally unacceptable. But as a general rule, so many relationships end because of stupid arguments. Ego-based arguments. People want their own gratification because things are not happening as they see it. Realize one thing: no matter what you say and no matter what you do, you're always seeing the world and other people and what they do through your eyes. So no matter what you do, it's your bias. No matter what you do. And so it is with them. But when we accept people, the whole person, kol ha'adam, we're giving ourselves a beautiful chance to build great relationships, whether it's at home or at work. And then when we build these great relationships at home or at work, we're actively contributing to a greater world. Try and apply this. This has worked for me in the most challenging of situations. And I would encourage you to try and apply this to your lives, and you're going to see the change. This is not a magic formula for paradise, but it is a formula for finding some paradise, some heaven on this earth, and preserving your relationships.